This sport, man. Can't believe it. Hey there, I'm Adrian, and this is Rabona TV's recap of the insanity that was the Champions League this week. I hope you like comebacks. Okay, let's get to it. Liverpool versus Barcelona. Like I said last week, if there was one team to turn around a deficit like this, it would be Liverpool playing at Anfield, where the mentality of the respective teams will play the biggest role. But then Firmino was injured. Salah was out as well. Keita injured in the first match, etc. Van Dijk was a doubt. It was really against Liverpool, not to mention the 3-0 scoreline from the first match. That old chestnut. Barcelona needed to prevent Liverpool from scoring early, and they got one. As Henderson drove forward, and despite Ter Stegen making the save, Divock Origi tucked in the rebound, 3-1 on aggregate, and still 84 minutes to go in this thing. Coutinho forced a save out of Alisson, and then Messi had an opportunity for a goal, but decided to try to dribble in the box to sort of shift it to his left foot, and was shut down because of that. Had he taken that first time or with a second touch, that could have been the tie over for Liverpool. He also had a couple shots go just wide in the first half. He was looking like he was on the verge of finding one, but in the end he couldn't. It was Van Dijk who came close from a corner early in the second half, and Ter Stegen saved quite competently, as he often does. By the way, I thought that Ter Stegen was quite good in this match, especially when it came to being alive and aware to the Liverpool balls over the top, particularly in the first half, coming out and truly embracing that sweeper-keeper role. With Andy Robertson going down injured at the end of the first half, Gini Wijnaldum was brought in as the replacement. Wijnaldum, who of course played an advanced role in the previous leg, and in this one, in the 53rd minute, he got on the end of an Alexander-Arnold squared ball, and his finish just eluded Ter Stegen in goal. 3-2 on aggregate. And this is where you felt like Liverpool were destined to win. Why? Because the mental side of the game really crept into this match. And Barcelona have been known to put in some terrible performances when they're playing away in this competition's knockout rounds. They have a history of that. Even the year they won the Champions League, they had that 4-0 loss away at PSG. And just like Chiellini said that it's the history of Tottenham to fail like that when Juventus beat Tottenham, Barcelona fans will have to get comfortable with the fact that it's now in their own recent history to put in a brutal performance in the knockout phase of the Champions League when their team is playing away against a fellow big side in Europe. 2016, 2-0 loss away to Atletico, out. 2017, 3-0 loss away to Juve, out. 2018, 3-0 loss away to Roma, out. 2019, we'll get there. So now that you have that backstory, this mental side of things makes sense, right? Going through the heads of the Barcelona players was, not again. Surely we're not going to do this again. We said we were going to bring the title back to Barcelona. This can't be happening. But it was happening. And go back and look at the faces of the Barcelona players at 2-0. They looked defeated already, despite still having the goal advantage for 2 more minutes. Because from a Shaqiri cross, it was Wijnaldum again, who this time headed past Ter Stegen as he rose for the ball uncontested. Both Lenglet and Piqué caught watching the match there. 3-3, Liverpool with all the momentum, and if you thought that Barcelona were still in this match mentally, if you didn't think they were completely shell-shocked, then the manner in which Liverpool found the winner proved that they were still reeling. But before we got there, Messi forced another save out of Alisson, and Barcelona had some moments, but they never amounted to anything. Barcelona's decision-making in and around the box was questionable at times. There was Messi earlier dribbling when he should have shot. Then there was Jordi Alba squaring to Messi and frankly surprising him when he himself should have shot. The list goes on. In the 79th minute, Liverpool won a corner kick. Alexander-Arnold placed the ball. Though it looked as though Shaqiri was coming to take the kick himself, Alexander-Arnold spotted Divock Origi completely unmarked in the box, and Origi got the finish right. And again, that's the mental side of the match that they had completely lost, and Origi was able to hit it past Ter Stegen and Piqué into the top corner. Not the easiest of finishes, to be honest, but what a strange way to go ahead. I mean, look at this. None of the Barcelona players were alive to the fact that the ball could come in any moment. They weren't complaining, but they weren't alive to the play. From here on out, Barcelona would provide some moments of drama, but just as they had lost the mental side of the match, they had lost the match itself as well when it was all said and done, 4-0. Another collapse on the road for Barcelona in the Champions League. And you have to give a ton of credit to Jurgen Klopp for this win and a gigantic L for Valverde. He made things extremely easy for Klopp by starting the exact same team as last week, and despite Liverpool not having 2 of their starting attackers in Firmino and Salah, Barcelona were still incapable of getting a result. Furthermore, Barcelona lacked any sort of intensity or any semblance of fight. Whenever there was a duel or a 50-50 ball, you never got the feeling that the Barcelona player would come out on top. They lacked that hunger, that intensity. Coutinho was not great. I mean, it said he's going to be gone. Jordi Alba struggled defensively, and Rakitic couldn't pick out the right pass at all times. I thought that Ter Stegen was good. Piqué was good, although he had a weak moment or two. And despite not scoring, Messi was, of course, Barcelona's best attacker. He threatened, but couldn't find the finish. It was a frustrating night for him. Klopp set up his team perfectly. He clearly said the right things to them. The Anfield crowd propelled them forward, and the players did the rest. The biggest change, of course, being the fact that they took their chances this time around. Origi had a blinder, Matip and Van Dijk were heroic at times. I mean, I want to say more positive things about Barcelona because some of their fans think that I hate them just because I didn't think that they would win, and I don't have a dog in this fight. But this go around, it's hard to find positive performance out of this, besides what I already said about Messi and Ter Stegen being the best players on the night for Barcelona. So Liverpool, for the second season running, will be playing in the Champions League final, and for Barcelona, will Valverde even be there at the end of this season? I mean, who would be a better alternative? Let me know in the comments. Man, like David Vianic and probably many others always say, imagine not enjoying football. Imagine not being able to witness moments like this. What a fucking sport, man. And there was more. Guys, can we give a hand to Spurs, please? They deserve it. And hey, for Ajax too, keep on clapping for Ajax as well. What entertainment we have them to thank for. Right off the bat, let's get this out of the way. I was wrong about Tottenham, again. I was just about exactly right. My prediction was that the second leg would end 2-2 after an Ajax win in London a week before. But again, Spurs survive somehow. They just get it over the line right at the death, and you can't help but give it up to them, man. The spirit in that squad has been special in the Champions League this season. And their opponent Ajax, they've been pretty special too, and not only in this edition, as coming into this, they had managed to make the final from 10 of their last 12 semifinals in European competitions, the last time they'd won being in 1995. They got European pedigree. And it was Ajax who had forced the first save of the match out of Hugo Lloris, as Dusan Tadic's deflected strike looked destined for that left corner, man. That was a heater. And then, just a couple minutes later, Ajax scored. From a corner kick, who else but their main aerial threat in De Ligt. And this was nothing new for Tottenham, being behind early, as they have conceded 7 goals in the opening 15 minutes of their Champions League matches this season, according to Opta. Not really sure why Trippier was marking De Ligt there, as that's an absolutely unholy mismatch. Only guess is that Spurs could be marking zonally instead of man-to-man. I don't know. So it was 2-0 in aggregate, adding to the away goal from the last match, but Heung-min Son went down the other way and hit the post. And the match evened out a bit from here until about the 35th minute when Tadic cut it back to Ziyech, and he leathered it into the top corner out of reach for Lloris. Ajax now 3-0 up. 3-0 on aggregate. And Tottenham had an absolute mountain to climb. But just like in the first leg, whatever Pochettino said to his team at halftime worked, and his change to bring on Llorente for Wanyama paid off. Not only did Spurs see more of the ball, the added threat of Llorente in between Blind and De Ligt meant that he was occupying the minds of the defenders far more, drawing attention, holding up the ball, and making room for Son, and of course, Lucas Moura. You know, coming into this, the entire conversation was, this could be Son's final match of the season. He's in great form. He's going to be the biggest threat to Ajax in this match. Son drew all of that attention from Ajax's back line as their danger man. Dele was also identified with his delayed runs into the box being dangerous, but Lucas slipped under the radar, I feel. With Dele driving forward in the 55th minute, one of his heavy touches allowed Lucas to ghost in unmarked, drive through, and slot it past Onana's left. And let me remind you, it was his touch that set up this attacking move as well. 2 minutes later, Llorente was denied right on Onana's doorstep. The ball bounced around, Shona and Onana got their wires crossed, and Lucas once again was alive to it and hit it into the corner with his left foot. That left foot was deadly on the night, but so was Ziyech. And he came close just a few minutes later as his strike curled wide. And like I said during the live stream, you started to wonder if all of these close opportunities, like Neres hitting the post in the first leg, Ziyech coming close on a few occasions in this one, Ziyech himself hitting the post in the 79th minute, you started to wonder if they would end up ruining these chances. And they did. I thought it was over in the 85th minute when Vertonghen hit the bar and then was denied off the line by Veltman with his second attempt, but Ajax held on. But in the final seconds of the match, with 95 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock, Lucas Moura again slotted past Onana for his hat-trick, drawing Spurs level on aggregate, but they score enough goals on the road to once again advance on away goals. Can you believe this? I mean, this is a team that didn't get a single win in their first 3 group stage matches. A team that's had to go through an immense number of players due to injury, that played 2/3 of their season in Wembley Stadium, that didn't spend a penny in the transfer window this season, and yet they have made it through to the Champions League final. Was it a matter of inches versus City and a matter of just seconds on the clock versus Ajax between advancing and elimination? Yes. Of course it was, but that won't matter to them, and you cannot begrudge Tottenham and Mauricio Pochettino of this victory. Look at the emotion on the players' faces, on Pochettino and his tears. It was beautiful. At the same time, heartbreaking seeing all of the Ajax players laying on the field. You gotta feel terrible for them. Another match, another example of how important the mental side of the game is. How you react in a crisis, how you react when your large lead is slipping away goal by goal. As incredible as Ajax have been in this tournament, they've played in some of the most entertaining matches in this tournament, not caring if they're playing, at the Allianz Arena against Bayern, or the Santiago Bernabeu versus Real, or the Allianz Stadium versus Juventus, or White Hart Lane against Spurs. They would go out there and play fearlessly, and they got the results to boot. But here, that fearlessness was tested by a Spurs side whom I have no idea how they are still even walking with the amount of injuries they have. They looked dead on the weekend, played with 9 men, which is going to grind you down. Ajax didn't have a response to them, and you have to wonder if you can point to the youthfulness of their squad or the lack of experience in some areas. I get that they made the Europa League final a couple years ago, but this is a totally different ball game. Regardless of what happened, Ajax can be proud of what this team accomplished, even in defeat, if you ask me. I hope that they can hold on to some of this talent, but they also have an opportunity at the domestic double still, so their season isn't over yet. They still have 2 matches in the Eredivisie, and they already won a KNVB Cup, so there you go. Spurs, on the other hand, wow, it's hard to bet against them now as they head into the final and will have a good few weeks of rest prior to it. They'll be re-energized, as Liverpool will be as well, and you have to wonder if Klopp would have been hoping for Ajax in the final. While Ajax provide challenges of their own, Pochettino has proven his worth even more this season. But then again, Pochettino's record versus Liverpool isn't great, having lost many more that he's won, so it will require a lot more consideration and probably a video of its own to preview the final. And with that, guys, I say thank you. Thank you to football, first off, for this insane treat this week. And then thank you to you as well for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. I'm Adrian, this is Rabona TV, take care.